Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Benzion. Today's daf is Nedarim daf Pei Gimel, number 83. The Gemara starts off on the bottom of Pei Beis on Beis. The Gemara is already asking on Rabbi Yochanan from yesterday. Rabbi Yochanan says that if a woman takes a neder, that she's not going to eat two loaves of bread. One loaf of bread she really likes to eat is whole wheat bread. The other one is wheat bread, is white bread. She's not going to eat that. So one of them she really wants to eat the whole wheat bread, the healthy bread, even though it's usually proven the other way that the white bread is more healthier. The Gemara says that white bread is healthier than the ones with the whole wheat bread, with the subit and the morsan, with the bran, and the germ. So he gave me Mayfair when she takes another, not the two loaves of bread. So his hafara only effective for the things of Iyun nefesh, the thing that caused her pain, the one that she wanted to eat. The thing she didn't want to eat, it's not hafara. Nether is not mufar. And if she would eat that bread, she would violate the neder. So the Gemara challenges this from a brisa on the bottom of Pei Beis on Beis. Aisha Nadra ben Azar Aisha shows again Mtamala Mesa. Harayzis Efegas Arboim without big and olive. She takes a neder. She's not gonna. She's gonna be in a zero, right? When you're in a zero, there's three things you can't. You can't drink wine, or grape juice, or eat grapes, or grape seeds, or grape peel. That's one is. Then the other is you can't cut your hair. And number three, you also can't go into a cemetery, time on the mason. So if she knowingly, right, it sounds like she knowingly violates, she's doing this all the time. She understands that she's in a zira and she's doing it all the time. She gets malchus. Hey for la baila. If her husband was mayfair, vilo yada shefer la. She doesn't know. Aisa shows hayam time on the mason. Right? She nonetheless is going ahead and she's doing these things. And as if I could start she doesn't get malchus. Although I mentioned yesterday, 2 days ago, that she is violating an issue Dal Raisa because she's doing it, presumably amazed over here. She's constantly doing it over here, right? She continues to do it even after people tell her it's probably not a good idea. So she doesn't get malchus because malchus can only incur if the nether exists. However, she does violate an issue Dal Raisa, right? A Bal Yachal Dvaro, like the Rebbe Gamliel said, Bal Yachal Dvaro. As the Gemara says, "V'yamar made for the Masana, made for the Shem Masana. Don't mean the Isay Sarah Hefela. Min Chartim and Zaglo Hefela, right? Why should she get? Why shouldn't she get malchus? Right? The hafara, if it's effective, only things of a Iyun nefesh, right? Wine. If she can't drink wine, that's inoi for her. But who wants to eat grapes, seeds, or peels? She's not misana from those things. The fact that she can't eat those doesn't cause her pain. So therefore, that part of the neder and the zero should be effective. She get malchus if she eats grapes with the skin and the peels. So Gemara says, "Amar Yosef in a zero sachatzar." Yosef gives an answer. There's no zeros halfway, meaning when I'm in a zero, right, I take all three surim upon myself, and when it's mufar than a zero, the whole thing is mufar. It's a bundle package, right? So that's the Gemara's answer. Now, the Gemara continues to challenge Rabbi Yochanan on the bottom of Pei Gimel and Aleph. Esive, 4 lines on the bottom. Isha shenadra benazir benitme sacha kefer la baila mevia chatas haovim mevia olas alf yamers made for the Mazana made for the Shem Mazana at the top of Pei Gimel and Beis. Dilma miyayin the Issa Sar Heferla. Mitumas Meis Leisa Sar Lo Heferla. She took a Nazirus, she became Tame, and then the husband was made for the Nazirus, right? Right. So when he's made for the Nazirus, right? She took the Nazirus, he's made for the Nazirus, then she became Tameh. Now, Nidve sounds like she was B'shogeg. They wasn't on purpose. She's not like before we said, she shows Sayyad and she's constantly doing these things. And Nidve, it was a mistake. She went into the cemetery on a mistake. So the Gemara asks, right, he was made for the Nazirus, drinking wine, which causes her pain, but going to a cemetery is not necessarily causing her pain. It's not painful not to be able to go into a cemetery. Right? And the Gemara answers, no, it is painful because if you don't bury people, they won't bury you. So it is something which is painful. That's the Gemara's answer. Now, the obvious question is, why does the Gemara answer what we said before? Why is the Gemara even challenging from this, right? The question, right? The Gemara says, yes, Rabbi Yochanan says, when 2 loaves of bread, right, the thing which doesn't cause Rino is not included in the Hafara. But Nazirus is a bundle package. So here also, Tumas HaMes is part of the bundle package. Just like we answered by Zag V'chartzan, also Tumas HaMes is part of it. So why does the Gemara answer that? The second question is why did the Gemara question from a different brisa? Why don't we just bring from the other brisa? If we're asking Tumas HaMes, for some reason Tumas HaMes would be different than Chartzan and Zag, right? The grape seed and the grape peel. why don't we quote from the original brisa, which talks about Tumas HaMesim, right? On the top of Big Gimel and Aleph, right? Heal the other shehefer love. Shows you how to metamal HaMesim. It says she's metamal HaMesim. So what's going on over here, right? Why quote a new brisa? So the answer is, like I was alluding to before, the first brisa is talking about she's doing it on purpose, right? She's constantly doing it. She's Shosayana Metamal HaMesim. She's constantly doing it on purpose, right? The second brisa, right? She never been other than nitmes, right? So nitmes sounds like she did it b'shogeg. It wasn't her fault, right? So if she did it b'shogeg, it's very different. Why is it very different? That's why you bring from the second brisa. The second brisa is talking about b'shogeg. The first brisa is talking on mezid. So when it's mezid, right? She's constantly drinking wine. She's mitamel mesim. So then you have to view that the Naziros is a bundle package, right? Because she doesn't care about anything Naziros. Even if she would only do one thing, drink wine, right? We could assume she's probably going to be Metamal Mesim also. She doesn't care about her Naziros. She's viewing her Naziros as something not important in her eyes, so it's a bundle package. However, the three Yisurim and Naziros really are three different Yisurim. We're going to have to discuss this more in Masechus Nazir, to what extent they're separate Yisurim, to what extent they're a part of one package. However, when she does it b'shogeg, which is the second brisa, so there we would say Naziris Lachatzayin over there because it was a mistake that she became Tameh, right? Just because she becomes Tameh doesn't mean now she's going to go ahead and start drinking wine and start cutting her hair. She's not going to do these things. It was a mistake. She's probably not even going to go into a cemetery again. If she can help herself, she's probably not going to do it. So therefore, since it's an isolated mistake, it's a b'shogeg, so therefore you don't view it. In this case, we would say Yesh Naziris Lachatzayin, and we would view the three different Yisurim as separate Yisurim. Since it's b'shogeg, it's probably not going to be repeated, and it's probably not going to do another Isser of the Naziris, a different Isser of the Naziris. We view them individually, and that's why the Gemara would say in this case, Yesh Naziris Lachatzayin over here, in terms of the Hafara, right? If the Hafara is effective for one loaf of bread and not for the other loaf of bread, similarly, Naziris will be effective for Tumas Mesa and not for the Iyun, for the Iyun, not for the Tumas Mace. So therefore, in this case, we would say that there is Naziris Lachatzayin. That's why the Gemara has to answer Tumas HaMeis. Yes, there is such a thing as Inui by Tumas HaMeis. That's why the Gemara gives that answer. That's my answer. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.